She's
She
very, very
is.
funny.
She
All
was
right.
great. I
That's
loved it.
the show.
Like,
Just kidding.
So Paige and I just take over from here.
Yeah. Go ahead, Paige.
All right. Paige, what are
I
your
was
thoughts on
gonna
that one?
say-
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the new marketing and branding edition of the Walkthrough Podcast, presented by Baroque Agent Media, aka your go-to marketing and branding podcast. Thank you to everyone that watched and commented and made last week's episode one of the most watched episodes in show history. My name is Dan Oneil, the captain of BAM, and joining me today, as always, is a star panel featuring Eric the Baroque Agent Simon, Shane Burgman, and Miss Utah Paige, aka Paige Steckling. And this week we are talking social media news from Eric. What's new in the algorithm to keep us in the loop? What's in and what's out for real estate marketing? What is working and not working in our respective businesses? The best social post that we've seen in real estate and outside of, a 60-second tip, and make sure to stick around for the end because our handsome friend over here who's wearing aviators and a black eye, Eric, got to hang out with Mr. Ryan Serhant this week, and we would love to know what Eric learned. Smash and like that subscribe button. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Yes.
That was very monotone.
Yes.
All right, there we go. Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right, topic number one. Eric, do you want to hand this right here? Hooks from Ken Pozak. Let's get it.
Yes. Ken Pozak, the legend, the hook machine, Captain Hook himself, had one of the best hooks that I've seen to a video in a long, long time. He said specifically, one of the things you might not think about when moving to Orlando or living here. So, Haley, if we could play this video real quick by Ken Pozak, then we could break it down.
You might not think about when moving to Orlando or living here is that our emerging art scene is something to behold. If you've been to the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center and checked out Steinmetz Hall, you might have seen what Architectural Digest ranked as one of the most beautiful theaters in the entire world. You have the good people over at the Creative City Arts Project, where they're trying to expose and expand the palette of Orlando's art scene, as well as the Orlando Museum of Art and beyond. There's just so many different things that are coming to our area. One of the cool things I love being able to expose my kids to, and just even myself, seeing different people and acts from all around the world. Very cool reason to live in Orlando. Looking to buy or sell a house in Orlando? We'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. DM us to get started.
I mean, just perfect execution. He's got the CTA at the end. He's got the light classical music in the background. It's such a good hook. And I just wanted to take note of a couple more hooks that agents could use, Dan, that are similar to this. X things I wish I'd known about Orlando before I moved here. X things most people don't know about insert city that made me want to move. And the number one reason I moved, or the number one reason I left this city. So Ken Pozak, obviously just the content goat. Paige, what do you think of this video by Ken Pozak? Was it perfect execution? Did you like the music? Do you like the hook? Is it something you'll use in your business?
Absolutely. I love it because it really positions him as the local expert. And even for people that are already living in the city that may not know, I would love to watch somebody in my city who does the research behind the scenes and says, here's what's going on this weekend, or here's what you should be doing, or here's something you might not know about Salt Lake City, because then I don't have to do the work myself. Everybody's so busy in their own lives. And then it really positions himself as he's in the know. He knows what's going on in the real estate market and in the city, which is where you want to be if you're a real estate agent. You want people to come to you for local stuff as the local expert.
Hell yeah. Shane, what did you think of that video?
No, it's solid, man. Ken knows Orlando really, really well. And I think from anyone watching that, like, you're automatically kind of drawn and pulled into it because it's like, oh, what don't I know? So like it automatically piques sort of everyone's interest. I wish it was a little bit more like visually captivating. I think like a lot of like hooks nowadays are like,
wait a minute. What'd you say? Oh,
So you hated the video.
you didn't like
No,
it?
I loved it. No, I loved it.
Okay.
If we're criticizing, I feel like it's pro and con is fair, right? No?
What? Yeah, that's
of
fair.
course.
Am I
What
just
heard
supposed to say what's good about it?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, it's
No,
great.
you
It's a
only
great
have to
video. And it's a
compliment
hook.
it.
I totally agree with you guys 100%.
So what do you wish was more visually appealing about it?
I think hooks that are used with clever words, like, I don't really think that that's the direction that is the future of hooking. I think hooking is something that has to be captivating, whether it's like a visual disruption or something that like automatically catches your eyes. We've seen a lot of that shit in the past, but just like my criticism on it.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll look to Shane for the future of hooking down the road. Dan, I do have.
If you don't want my opinion,
no, we want your opinion. Are you drinking a whiskey right now? What is that?
The hell you?
it's whatever you want it to be, Eric.
Yeah, Shane's a very distinguished person. He's got a fantastic background. I got a quick algorithm news here, guys. I don't know if you know this yet. Dan, Paige, Shane, this is breaking news here. You can now do polls in your Instagram captions. You could do a poll where people could vote in your Instagram captions. This should drive a little bit more engagement. I could see people doing it for favorite coffee shops, favorite restaurants, stuff like that. So that's an interesting new feature. And then this is a good one. This is a good one, especially for you, Dan. You can now turn off read receipts on Instagram. So people could read your messages, or you could read their messages, and you could turn off the read receipts. So all you have to do is navigate to the privacy and safety settings in the app and toggle off the read receipts. New update starting today.
No way. You know, I didn't even know
Yes.
that was a thing. I thought if you like read it and then you unread it, that it didn't show that you opened it. And I just learned the hard way that for about 5 years it does. Well, how do you get to that? Privacy and settings.
Yeah, you go to
Talk about just immediate implementation.
privacy,
here.
safety settings in the app, and toggle off the read receipts. So this will be good for all of us. Paige, this will be very good for you too. I'm sure you are getting a lot of DMs from agents. Shane, probably not, but everybody else, this will be good for us.
No, my hooks are awful, so people don't DM me.
I love that.
Oh, man. For the future of hooking. Thanks, Shane.
Fucking hook your other eye, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
Yes,
I appreciate that. Ken Pozak. Eric, what did you think about the hooks? Give me. I don't know how. Maybe I'll ask this to Ken. How does this guy know so much about Orlando? Like, does this guy just go to like the public library every day and just like learn like more shit about fucking Orlando? Sorry to curse.
he's just so ingratiated in the community. He's interviewing the mayor. He's going to all the theme parks. He's going to the Orlando Magic game. Like, he's really, when you think about Orlando, you think about Ken Pozak. Kind of similar when you think about Utah, you think about Paige. Like, they've become like synonymous with their actual cities. So they've both been doing a fantastic job at marketing.
I mean, but you want to work with somebody who knows everything about the city. Like, if I'm moving somewhere or I'm selling my house, I want to work with somebody who I feel like knows all the ins and outs. So he does a great job.
Yeah, becoming like the local news source for your city. He's done a really good job. So anyone listening to this, go check out the Orlando Reel on Instagram. It's Ken's second page, and that's basically his media company around Orlando. It's a great thing to replicate.
That's awesome.
That was a great layup right there too, because Paige just said in and out. And speaking of in and out, topic number 2 is what's in and what's out this week here in real estate marketing. Mr. Shane Burgman, I'm going to start with you because it looks like you're playing a game of manhunt right now. It's blinding my face. What is in this week for you, my friend?
So we are taking notes from Ken, right? As far as getting really, really familiar.
Are you taking notes?
Taking notes, man. Ken is a great creator, and when it comes to content, so what he does is really, really awesome for the Orlando market. And I'm an hour away from Orlando, so just by sort of getting more ingrained in the community, learning more about upcoming, subdivisions, new restaurant reviews, things like that, we've been really kind of diving in on our YouTube channels to do that. I mean, just yesterday we did a video about a new subdivision that was just announced 4 days ago. So by kind of being on the forefront of those updates, the consumer appreciates that. And then you become sort of that resource where people look to for updates, different things in the area that they should be interested in.
What was the title for that subdivision video? New subdivision with your head exploding and just like a blank area of ground, or what did that look like?
So the subdivision is called Farallon Fields. So we made a little joke like, how far along are you?
I can't wait to get Ken Pozak and replace you and put this on, have Ken Pozak critique your content.
I would love to do a
you should debate
criticism between the two. Yeah, in person too.
Oh, man, I love it. Paige, what's in for you?
I did a video this week that did really well, and every agent can do it. It was just an article of the top 9 places to live in Utah. And Utah's like pretty localized. So like they were all pretty close around Salt Lake City. But every area is going to have an article like that. And then I just did a green screen, like kind of going over my take of the different cities. And the only negative thing is I was like, I may have offended a couple people. Like, I've sold homes in the areas that I was like, maybe not the best, don't love this area. But I feel like you have to give your real opinion, but be careful not to offend too many people. But people loved it. They were like commenting why their city should be on there, or why this one should be in the top 5, or why this city sucks and this one's way better. And it was just a good way to like show my personality, talk about these different areas, what I like and don't like about them. And had I known we could do polls in the caption, I should have included a poll. Do you think this list is right, or would you change it, or something like that? But anyways, super easy video to do. I still love green screens because they cost $0. You can do them yourself. You can make yourself smaller if you're like uncomfortable on camera, or bigger. You can move it around so it's engaging, and you can edit it really easily. So I think everyone should do it.
Shane,
Eric,
you should do some green screens where you're literally tiny, minuscule in the corner, talking about the top 10 places to live in Jupiter.
Your first one.
Yeah, we're
Start out your first video, like a little tiny.
Can you imagine just the tiniest head ever in the corner, and
the
Shane
little
just
Men in Black guy.
exactly.
Wait, Eric is Woj over here. Eric just broke this news that we can
Wow. That's a
make
great
news from Woj. You can now make captions in your. You can now do polls
Woj
in your
bomb. You
Instagram
can make
captions.
polls in your captions.
The Oracle has spoken. Jesus.
Exactly.
Eric, what's out for you this week, my friend? Aside from your black eye and the aviator glasses that you have on your face.
I know the black eye is almost out. Hopefully that will be out next week.
It's
What
been
is
like a month.
What is in is exactly what Paige is talking about. Haley, if we could play this, actually, I did something on the BAM page to get more emails for the viral agent. And I wore this mask right here, this red light mask. And it was the subconscious hook that we mentioned last week about how if you have some sort of facial, ailment problem going on, or you don't actually have to have a problem. You could just be wearing a helmet, or you could be wearing a hat. You could be wearing sunglasses like this. Yeah, Dan right there has a WWE belt or something behind him. Anytime you could hook the audience in with something, and then just watch this video and just watch how simple it was and the call to action. I think we picked up like 800 emails from this.
We are about to send out our viral agent newsletter, started by the broke agent, me, and actually agents. This is social media tips, algorithm updates, Instagram Reels ideas, content inspiration, and hooks. This is what we call a subconscious hook. You're looking at the content in the background. You're interested in the video because I am wearing this red LED light mask to make my skin more firm. Comment the word hook if you want this newsletter. It is about to be sent out in a couple hours. Drop the word hook below, and we will send you this newsletter. It will be epic. It will make your life better.
I mean, the execution, the sense of urgency, the comment the word hook, the mini chat, the subconscious hook, the FOMO. You're going to miss out on this email if you don't get it. 800 emails right there from that post. So that really worked. Anyone here sign up for the Viral Agent newsletter?
Not yet. I'm going to do it immediately right now.
All right. Well, Shane, Paige, you're in it this week. So make sure you guys sign up.
Okay.
Dan, what's working for you?
Sorry, I was just signing up for the Viral Agent newsletter.
Okay, good.
What's working for me is working. Is finally getting back and posting content, and believe it or not, doing some public accountability. Never thought on planet Earth anybody would ever want some public accountability for myself. But what I've been doing is just throwing shit against the wall, throwing stuff against the wall, and seeing what sticks, and experimenting. And believe it or not, the 3 posts have really worked. So I would say what's working is making content, being consistent, and experimenting. And I would say what's not. What are you laughing at?
So, you said what's working is throwing shit against the wall to see what sticks.
Yeah.
Like, give us like the example of the public accountability stuff you've been posting, because this stuff is crushing.
So I've just been basically, I got back into production and I wanted a way of, I knew that if I just said I got into production and I didn't share it with anybody, that I would just 2 days later, I would stop doing it. So I posted on my Instagram that I was going to set X amount of appointments. And I just got lucky with like a recording that Jeff Mays had from Tom Ferry with him and I posted it. And I was like, if it doesn't, I just go on mute. Okay. I was just like, if it doesn't get any traction, like I don't really care. I'll archive it, whatever, right? Let's see if it works. And it turns out it did. And I got a lot of positive feedback, a lot of DMs, a lot of engagement. So I did it again, worked the second time. I did it a third time. And so just kind of, if I didn't experiment or if I was in my own head and if I was just trying to stick to the funny stuff or if I cared what other people thought, then I would never have posted that. And I wouldn't have known that it worked. This is probably the most in one I've been, I would say, on Instagram in probably like a year.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, I love the public accountability stuff you've been posting. And when you watch your stories now, it's just like a full day of when you're getting up, when you're working, the inside of your meetings. It just looks like there's so much action going on that if I were a buyer or a seller, I'd be like, I got to work with this guy. Like this guy's constantly making moves. So I think it's definitely working.
Yeah. You want to know what's out?
What?
Is lazy Canva BS posts. So I've been helping Lisa Chinati with her Instagram and trying to, I think I've done a good enough job so far. I mean, her Instagram is popping off right now. I think she had like 20,000 accounts reach this week. I think I sent it to you, But what she has is, and I'm not harping on anybody here, but she had a marketing team that as I'm doing it, right, there's a science behind it. You got to post in the morning, right? We're going to put a create mode, then you're going to put a poll, then we're going to put Lisa's face. I'm telling her what to post. I'm absolutely in one on her Instagram account, and I'm looking down at it, and somebody posts at the same time that I did a beautiful, nice, well-worded caption. It's just a Canva post like, "Hey, come to our meeting tomorrow," with like a GIF and like arrows to link in bio. It got 1 like. I'm like, I call Lisa up. I'm like, Lisa, you ruined it. What did you do? She's like, I didn't touch it. I didn't post anything. It's my marketing team. I'm like, well, it looks like a 3-year-old just made this on Canva. I'm deleting it and tell your marketing team they're fired. I don't think she did that, but the lazy Canva and the VA style captions, same thing over and over again. I'm scrolling right past it. That's what's out for me.
Yeah, totally agree. Shane, what about for you? What's out? What's not working in your real estate marketing?
I'm annoyed at the shit, man, at a lot of things, obviously, but the short video with the long ass caption and trying to get bring me in to read that shit so your view counter goes up.
I like that.
I think people are like really aware of what's happening there, and I just hate that style. Like, it's so lazy on the creator standpoint. It's like a slow motion of them like, I'm going to do a guy so I'm not sexist, like flexing his muscles, right? Like, who fucking cares? And then it's like, you're the expert, read my shit. It bothers me a lot. I'll leave you a lot.
That actually is such like a little engagement hack. Like, you literally just make like a 2-second video and just caption beneath, and then everyone's got to scroll down there and be a sucker and read it, and then they're just sitting on your reel. And now they've learned last week.
Eric last week dropped some nuggets.
Yeah. So Shane hates everything we do. He hates the Ken Pozek hoods, and he hates the long captions. Apparently, I guess he hates the show. Last week on the walkthrough, we talked about how great long captions are for the replayability. But Shane, I do agree. It does feel a little, kind of trickery if you do something like that, but it works. So,
but didn't you talk about the difference between a replay and a view? Correct.
Yes.
And then I mean, where can we go with that? Like, a replay isn't as strong as an initial view. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe so. In the hierarchy of rankings of views and replays.
And that's kind of the only thing of it. And I think that order came into effect because of that type of content, that style. The abuse of an algorithm with replays.
If you provide a little value in the video itself too, and say read the caption for more, because if you're going off for a minute and you still want to elaborate, like Taya DeCarlo does a great job at this, where she's doing her Taya's 2 cents, and then she like links to a Housing Wire article and has like a long caption that's kind of like a blog post, but she's giving value in the actual video too. Paige, what about you? What's not working? Probably nothing, right? Seems like everything's working.
Especially Utah.
Yeah. Well, I need to get more tech savvy is what I need to do. Like, I did a story last week. I went skiing, and then I posted these really cool condos around Deer Valley and saying, hey, these brand new condos just got released. You'll probably never be able to get something in this area before the expansion with the Tiger Woods golf course ever again. You can get them in the mid 400s. Let me know if you want more email and I'll send it over, or let me know if you want more info and I'll send you over more info. And then a ton of people were DMing me, and then I'm like, okay, send me your email. I'll send you info. I still haven't sent any of these people info because I have all of their emails in my inbox, and I'm going to have my assistant go through and like pull them all out, put them into something. So I need to go back and I need to watch the mini chat on BAMX tutorial. What is not working is me just like throwing something out and getting a bunch of information and not being systemized and using the right tech to like automatically put everybody into the CRM. So that's what's not working for me.
I got a solution for you. With mini chat, you could, comment the word tiger or comment the word woods or something, right? And then in a link, it says, you send them a message. That message could say, drop your email below and I'll send you more information. So they could actually drop their email in the DM, and that could actually organically go into your mini chat, which you could then upload to your MailChimp or Flowdesk or whatever you use. I can show you how to do.
So
you could set that up on ManyChat. So
okay,
yeah. So we've done that before.
Tutorial.
Yeah. So we've done that before, like after a YouTube mastermind or something, or after a webinar, we'll say comment the word replay, or DM me the word replay. They DM the word replay, and then I say drop your email. So it's kind of like multiple steps, but that way you're just getting their email, and they don't have to put it into an actual lead form or lead page.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know that like the messages in your DMs could go straight into something in ManyChat. So I know like the very basic how to like send a message from a comment, but yeah, I need your help. So I'll watch the BAMX tutorial first though. And if I still can't figure it out, I'll call you.
Yes. Well, that's a great transition If you want to get in BAMX, we have tutorials for ManyChat, for YouTube, for thumbnail creation, for Instagram, how to create green screens, everything like that. Get in BAMX right now. Use code WALKTHROUGH, WALKTHRU, 10% off. It's our private community. Join BAMX today. Link down in the description. Go ahead, Dan. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, love that. Paige, I wouldn't even say that that's out because I don't think that you even knew that you were going to receive all those emails. And how would you know to have that systemized if you never had that problem before?
Yeah. I mean, and I was just like, did a quick story about it. I actually thought the condos were really cool. But now looking back, I'm like, okay, before I post something like that, I'm going to get it all set up and ready to go in ManyChat. So I don't, now it's like been almost a week later. Who knows if I'll ever email these people eventually. Hopefully I will.
You're going to, because speaking of public accountability, now we're all going to hold you accountable. And you have Mr. ManyChat, actually 2 of them right here. The amount of email signups I have just through commenting the word pro on every single BAMX post is absolutely insane.
Yeah,
here's finding my I'd be balling AOL screen name.
Here's a pro tip with that. Do not keep using the same words over and over again like how we are. So we keep using the word BAM and the word pro over and over. So sometimes people just comment the word BAM on different posts saying like, oh, I love this BAM article or I like this BAM post. And then I'm sending them links. So obviously you should make the ManyChat specific to that post. But it's a huge problem because sometimes people say like, oh, like I hated this BAM piece or something. And then I send them a link and then they hate us even more. So that is out. You know what else is out, Dan?
Me?
Currently right now, you're out. What's out is the Inman conference, not the actual conference itself. I'm following Inman News on Instagram. They're not posting about their conference. They have like one story up. They had a couple stories of Ryan Serhant. I go in their feed. They have like one ad from Realtor.com. How are they not posting a ton of content about, quotes from what Mauricio said or clips from their conference? Like, this is the biggest media company in real estate. They're hosting the biggest conference in real estate right now, 4,000, 5,000 people in New York. Their social media action is non-existent. And to me, that's baffling. So that's out. If you're throwing an event, whether it's a buyer seminar or it's the Realtor prom or it's BAM camp or anything like that, what are you showing, Dan? Yeah, they have a couple stories up. I'm talking about the actual feed posts.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah. If you're throwing any sort of event or any sort of webinar, creating FOMO around that event and sharing people's stories and sharing like information that you're getting from that event is going to make so many people want to attend the next one. So any sort of webinar that you're doing, virtual event, you got to be promoting the crap out of it and letting people know that it's happening. So they're out.
I've seen that firsthand too. Anytime that you guys do a live webinar or anytime that you guys do any sort of show, a debate, Eric literally looks like he's got like 10 monitors, like he's at NASA, and the guy's like going live on BAM. He's going live on the Broke Agent. He's commenting. He's on here. He's in Discord. He's in ManyChat. He's like, it's like a one-man like army over here. But it does create FOMO, and yeah. So I agree with you there, partner.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. What's it? Topic 3, Shane. I'm going to start with you here, buddy. What's the best thing that you've seen in real estate marketing this week? It's clear it's not Ken Pozak. It's clear it ain't any of my stuff. It's clear it ain't Eric's face. It's clear it ain't the sun. What's the best thing that you saw inside real estate marketing this week and maybe outside of real estate marketing?
Man, I'm on thin ice with you guys. 2 strikes in. I don't
want
to lose it.
You look like you've been on ice for a week.
I don't want to lose this one for you guys. Dude, so we have this awesome agent down south, South Florida. She's over in Naples, so it's actually really close to Dan. I actually saw this video yesterday, and it was something that she did about her local market. So she lives in Naples, grew up in Naples, knows like everything about Naples. And she did this video that, warning, it does have some profanity in it, but she goes into like the stuff that you would only know if you grew up in Naples. And clearly it resonated with a lot of folks, because if you read the comments, what everyone is saying is it's, they're bringing back nostalgia. They're bringing back things that were in other locations that are now replaced by X, Y, and Z. And her delivery was so perfect and funny. Background on Natalie, like she was a former actor, has such a cool backstory on it, but her personality and character and just ability to sort of like engage with an audience comes through on that video. And I watched the whole thing a couple of times, and it's hilarious. And it gave me an idea, like other agents could do this in their markets if they know it well enough. So that's kind of my pitch on it.
Let's play it.
I am fired up. Naples 90s kids, where you at? What the fuck is Turco Taco? Number one reason to go to your parents' Home Depot is for checkers, not for an oil change. Go karts at King Richards. Will always be better than another fucking Hyundai. Hyundai. Your first makeout is at a Regal now? Do we really need another furniture store? Dirty Larry's. Oasis is way too clean. It's cool that the Four Seasons is coming to Naples and it's gonna like raise our property value and all that bullshit, but the Naples Beach Club, it's like the only bar on the beach, and you took that away from us. Thanks so much. Let's go to Key Wadens. Do you mean by boat? Because what the fuck is this? More like let's go to Yaba. It was a staple. They had the best happy hour. Okay, I'm willing to give it a try. It did just open, so.
Textbook. And Naples is a really hard market to like break into. And we met her at BAM camp, right, Eric? BAM
Yeah,
camp
she insulted me.
Yeah, she
Rightfully
did.
so. You probably deserved it, you son of a bitch.
She's very funny too. She's very funny.
She was great. I loved
That's
it.
the show.
Like,
Just kidding.
Paige and I just take over from here.
Yeah. Go ahead, Paige.
All right. Paige, what are your
I was
thoughts on
gonna
that one?
say She used humor and showed her personality, and she again like knows the ins and outs of the city, and the locals are going to want to watch that, and there's so many people that are going to relate to it. And so I thought she did a great job, and I liked that it was different. It just wasn't the same thing everyone else was doing.
Agreed. Also, the nostalgia play with the Slim Shady in the background, the 90s kid stuff, like that's really what makes a video perfect, when you could have an audio in the background too. Although I did hear 3 F-bombs in one S word.
Yeah, I can't do that here.
I bet. Oh, yeah, you're right. In Utah, that's got to be tough. I bet if she only had one F-bomb, it might improve the video a little bit, because then it's kind of like that shock value. And then also it helps the shareability of it. So a little advice to it now. But a fantastic video. We love Natalie. She's great. She's in BAMX.
Yeah. What's the best thing you've seen, Shane, outside of real estate marketing? But outside of the real estate landscape.
So you might not know this about me, but a lot of the other content that I consume, and it's hardly real estate, is mindset stuff. It'd be, a lot of different Buddhist stuff, just all sorts of things about mindset and get your body kind of aligned. And so the video you guys are about to play, this guy drops really strong nuggets as far as just communication. And I see the correlation between what he talks about just from a normal day-to-day conversation, and it's right into sales. So the way that we should pause in our sentences, the way that we could ask questions, the way that our mannerisms and our body language sort of reacts, and everything you do with your hands and your face, I think is really important. So this was just a small little clip that he talks about, and I love the way it ends, because that's how he actually delivers his point.
Here's how to get better at answering difficult questions almost on the spot. No, I'm not lagging, I'm pausing. I'm giving you the first part of the answer. You see, if someone asks you a complex question and you need a moment to think about it, just pause. Take a moment to think about the answer, and take a moment to collect your thoughts, and then try to answer the question. However, if you pause for a few seconds and you're still unsure on how to structure your thoughts, here's what I would do. Example time.
Hey Vin, why is online personal branding so important?
Sarah, do you mind if I just take a few moments to organize my thoughts? I want to be able to add the most value possible to you. Do you mind if I just take a couple of moments? Thanks, Sarah. Cheers. Sarah, the first thing when you're building an online personal brand, the first thing that it helps you with is it helps you build reputation at scale, even when you're sleeping. And you've got to understand too that your reputation, Sarah, it's a long-term asset that grows with you on your journey, even if you change careers. And so the second thing I wrote is that having a strong online personal brand, it helps you create more trust and credibility. And then on top of this, it helps position you as an expert in your industry. And the final thing I noticed...
Block this guy from our Instagram feeds and never show that again. No, Shane, I will say this. Totally agree.
I'm out.
Because
I struck out. I'm sorry, guys. Just
that was
Haley, can
great.
you pull me from the podcast?
No, I'm about to compliment
I'll see you guys.
It was good if it was an hour shorter. If it was 59 minutes.
Exactly.
It's good if he told you what not to do first.
I just can't believe you're sitting there listening to that guy. Pause. Is it okay if I take 3 minutes to write what you just asked Shane down.
So Vin does have a YouTube, and his videos are much longer, but I mean, he just learned a lot of things about communication and proper ways to do it. And he could have ended that video in the first 15 seconds where he does his first deliberate pause, because that's the whole intent of that. Like, just stop and think a little bit. I mean, that's what I got from that video. And I mean, he's got a big following. I don't think Eric probably ever knew who the guy was, but I think it's helpful for sales. Period.
Yes. Thank you for bringing him into my life. Imagine a seller asks you the question, or a buyer says, when was the roof built? And you say, oh, let me take a few seconds to organize my thoughts. And then you just go to your pen and paper and you start like calculating something. That'd be ridiculous.
I'm so glad you asked. Would you allow me just 5 minutes to sit at your kitchen table while I write down what you asked me?
I just want to provide you as much value as humanly possible before I give you this response. Do you mind if you just sit here for 40 minutes?
Is it okay if I draw you a picture of your thoughts? Is it okay?
Shane, real. Oh, he's gone. Thank God. I will say
hey,
this,
sorry,
though.
technical error, man. I was taking notes.
I agree with the pause, because doing podcasts and stuff like this, we're so quick to just answer something because we just want to get something out there. We don't want there to be any awkward pauses. So I do agree with it, especially in a setting like this. Sometimes, Shane likes to just rile stuff up, launch it right off the top of his head. It might be good to sometimes pause before he says anything. So yes, very, very good video.
Well, thank you.
And what's this guy so we could all follow him and block him? Make sure he never appears on our feeds.
Not going to be in BAMX is him right there.
I bet you'll like him, dude. Ask Vin is his handle. I bet, Eric, give him 1 or 2 more shots. So you need to dedicate about 3 hours to watch 2 of his videos. I think you'll really start to appreciate him.
1 or 2 shots. It'll be February by the time I finish him.
Does Instagram have like a 3x or 4x speed? Like if it's Spotify, where I could just like fast forward this guy's videos, if you're listening to a podcast. Also, Shane, the funny thing is I was listening to John Cena on the Impulsive podcast with Logan Paul last night, and I could not believe how well articulate John Cena was. And he did not say he did not say he didn't do any of the above, and he paused every single time. So I picked up on that I spent an hour and a half watching John Cena and Logan Paul. Probably should just went and watched your guy over here for a minute and a half.
Should probably just slammed your head against the wall for an hour and a half.
Yeah, should have done anything else.
I bet it's good. Paige, what about you? What's the best thing you saw in real estate this week?
Okay, well, I wanted to give Dan a shout out for his listing video. It wasn't this week, but I haven't been on, I think, since he shared it, and it was so good. He, we can play it and we can talk about it, but it made me actually interested in the property. So I always pay attention to what's actually sparking my interest in the property in these listing videos. So, it made me interested in his property, want to learn more, and be like, oh, that would actually be cool to own that property. And he had a great hook.
And this is Dan McKinnon.
Yeah.
Dan the realtor.
Wouldn't it be nice if I didn't have to do another winter like this?
Sarasota, famous for white sandy beaches, beautiful waterfront high-rise,
and lots of sunshine.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't it be nice if we were older, then we wouldn't have to wait so long? And wouldn't it be nice to live together in the kind of world where we belong? No one's gonna make it that much better when we can say goodnight and stay together.
Barefoot? Barefoot.
This is so good.
Wow.
You don't have to watch the whole thing, though.
DJ Excellent. Right. That's textbook.
It made me... It showed it was close to the beach. It showed a lifestyle, like he is walking barefoot from the beach. And when it shoots to that like big open wide shot of him just sitting in the beach chair and then riding his bike to the house, it makes you think, oh, it's super close. You can just ride your bike to the beach. And then I thought, oh, it's a townhouse. Like I could afford a townhouse. Like maybe I should buy a Florida beach house. So all the way from Utah, it actually made me think about wanting to buy his listing. And so I always pay attention to stuff like that. And anybody can kind of use that, I think, in their market. Like I could be like, wouldn't it be nice to own a ski and ski out property or a property that has this and this features that's 10 minutes from ski resorts? Or I feel like you could use that in any city. So I'll probably steal that at some point. I loved that song. It was just a great overall vibe, I thought.
Yeah, setting up the hook too is the problem with you're going to be freezing in the winter, and he's sitting there, he's freezing, he's shivering, turning on the TV, turns on the TV to Sarasota. It was just perfect execution. I didn't come across that. I bet that video crushed when you shared it with me. I think it hundreds of thousands of views or something like that.
Yeah,
Shane runs like multiple Instagram accounts too in Sarasota. We actually just hijacked his. Not hijacked, but we're using Motion Media, who's his content team. I'm floored that people in Florida walk into houses barefoot or their listings or showings. Yeah. Shane, I know you do this all the time.
Never. It's disgusting. I see children in the sidewalks with barefoot. I will run out of my house and throw shoes at them. It's an atrocity.
Do agents actually show houses barefoot in Florida?
If they are asked to remove their shoes and they're not wearing socks, I think inevitably, they would be barefoot. But not really, not to my knowledge. But people do walk around just in barefoot, like especially over on the beach. I mean, that's like a thing. I don't know what happened to their shoes, if they lost them or just never purchased a pair. But it's gross. It's jiffy. I don't know.
I wear shoes on the beach. I don't know if that's like the top 5 most likely to be a serial killer list on the FBI, but I've never owned a pair of sandals in my life.
How are your toes?
Yeah.
All right. I can't swim either. Speaking of those two things, Eric, what's the best thing that you've seen in real estate marketing this week, buddy?
Yeah, this is a still image post, and it is. I think we brought him up. What? Is that a problem? This is great. This is by moving to Kansas City. His name is Kyle Talbot. He's also in BMX, and he's basically doing kind of the Orlando Reel style. So he's basically taking still images and posting a headline. So he's acting as if the news reporter for Kansas City. So Kansas City named top 10 best places to visit in 2024 by the Wall Street Journal. Then he has a fat caption, which Shane hates, but it's okay with the still image right here. And he's just doing a great job moving _to Kansas City, doing the Orlando Reel Ken Pozek style, where he's basically created a media company around everything that's happening to Kansas City. So this is very easily replicable. Paige, you could do this also with, I think it was like the 9 best places to live in Utah, your green screen.
Yeah.
You could have a headline that says, I think Salt Lake or something was number 2, where Salt Lake City ranked number 2 best place to live in Utah or something like that. So you could just pull headlines and then have a picture of either one of your listings or just Salt Lake City in general and make a super simple post out of it. So shout out Kyle, moving _to Kansas City. It's a great account to follow for inspiration.
Love it.
BMX. Yep. What's the best thing you've seen outside of real estate marketing?
It's a Gary V post, unfortunately, but he
did this.
You
just sound like that was the most difficult question ever, like the most laborious. You hate this video.
I just feel like it's so cliche, but let's play it real quick and I'll explain why. All right, so if you're watching on Spotify, it basically or you're not watching on YouTube and you're listening on Spotify, first give us a 5-star review. Second, what happened is Gary V basically zoomed in on a computer and it had a hook to it, and then it switched to something else. I don't even remember what it said. It was a horrible. Forget this video. My point is, when you're expecting something to keep reading, it's going to keep you watching the video. So it's a very simple, replicable video for real estate agents. If you want to say something like, guess what's coming to Kansas City, guess what's coming to Utah, and it's on your TV screen and you're just scrolling down and it's a Microsoft Word document, you're sitting in a coffee shop. Brooks Landry does a couple of videos like this. I think it's a good idea.
Good morning.
We
watched that thing like 7 times. I still have no idea what that says though on the Word document. So would you say like moving, what's coming to Utah, and then just like have it just on loop where it just
it's like a verbal hook.
Yeah, and you're gonna wait to see what it says on the second page. Is what he's saying. So yeah, I like
it. Thank you. Shane, what did you think of this? You seem confused.
I can appreciate the difference of it, instead of just the screen of the image, he used video to kind of zoom in and make it feel like he just randomly saw it and it was something that like wasn't pre-planned or anything.
Kind of like a cliche POV voyeur style.
Absolutely, yeah. But I agree with you. A little cliche, but I can see applicable usage across many different options.
Okay, moving
You're
on
even
to
a
the final
Harvard
topic.
professor. I can see.
Wait,
this
Dan, what
for
about you? What's the best thing you've seen this week?
Try not to get out of here, guys.
I have the yeah. Haley, actually, can you play mine up? I actually took some time and researched this, and I really I had it down to a couple of different ones. I tried to post a screenshot.
Nice of
Eric
you.
wouldn't let me. Haley, can you pull up the Dan Campbell, Detroit Lions head coach?
We're all very
they're going to the
surprised.
AFC Championship. Not a big deal. Can you play this?
Took
really
some
quick?
time and researched.
What a guy!
This thing
did.
popped up in his
What a
algorithm.
sacrifice, man!
You think so?
Not all heroes wear capes.
Man, I swear to you, all I think about is you guys. That's all I think about, man. That's all I can think about is you guys and how I set you up for the best possible advantage I can give you to have a season. I swear to you, man. I just need you to trust me. That's all. Please.
So that isn't necessarily real estate marketing or branding, or I'm sorry, that isn't really marketing and branding, but in theory it kind of is, because that has me, number one, I think it was really cool how consistent he's been, Dan Campbell, and the fact that now the Lions are kind of like the Cinderella story 3 years later. So everything that he said in that video 3 years ago is now coming to fruition. It's leadership, accountability, but it also ties into marketing because all these videos now are coming out of Dan Campbell and the team. And I've never wanted to live in Detroit ever, but I would actually like want to go and play for him. I would run through a brick wall for him. I would want to go to the city. Like, they're doing a really good job of making Detroit look like awesome. Whereas, maybe they don't always get the best rap. So that's why I think it ties into marketing and branding. But what did you guys think of the Dan Campbell one? What did you guys think of that?
I love it, man. I am very interested in leadership and leadership styles. And, and I think, Dan, you as a team leader, you resonate with this because it's like you want your team to trust you. Like, you are guiding them to where you see you're the visionary of the team, and you just need the team to get behind you and trust you. And I love that he had so much emotion and passion and kind of showing that. And then obviously has like the scoreboard to prove that it's working. So, I mean, that stuff just amps me up, and I love to see his leadership style. And I do think for anyone in real estate that's managing a team or trying to start a team or whatever it is, if they're in any leadership capacity, like that will hit and it'll hit home.
Yeah. Okay. You know what I'm going to say was the best thing I saw outside of real estate times two? I'm going to say you guys, and we'll get to this at the end, but I'm going to say, actually, no, I'll save it to the end. I'm going to save it to the end. I have a good one. I have a really, really good one here.
60-second social tips.
Yes.
All right. Paige, what is your 60-second social tip?
My tip is to look at your Instagram feed or look at your email that you're sending out and actually ask yourself, would I want to follow this person, or would I want to open this email? Because so often we get in our own head about what's going to make us look good, or what's something different, or what's something that will like go viral. But you really want to be focusing on what people actually want to see. Your target market are people in your local area. And if you are constantly thinking about what they would want to see, what you would want to follow, then you're going to build your following and actually get business, not necessarily focusing on what's going to go viral. And you got to cycle through different types of posts, like local stuff, proof of success, marketing your listings. But just constantly asking yourself, is this an email I'd want to open? Is this an account I would want to follow?
It's a great tip. And I thought about that the entire time when I started the Broke Agent. I was always like, what's an account that I would want to follow if I was a real estate agent? And I think, just naturally you kind of get away from that because you do focus so much on the algorithm. And, is this going to get views? Is this going to get shares? Who's going to like this post? But I think that's just such good advice to just stop and sit back and be like, wait a second, would I want to receive this email? Do I want to, have 10 different things to click through? Do I want an intro that's massive? Do I want reels? Like that's just such a good like reset kind of to do a little social audit on yourself, like each week to think about what your audience. That's great advice.
Thank you.
Shane, 60 seconds.
Let's see what he has.
That is a tough. That you should just hit an inside the park home run as the leadoff hitter. That ain't any hard to.
I feel like I'll just pull away from whatever Paige said, but I'll give it a shot. I guess I'll go. I think it's important to read the feedback on the things you're posting and understand what is working and then what's not. I love to dive into the the analytics of my posts and kind of see what was distributed or shared more or commented more and why. I love to engage in the comments and then also on the DMs, and I can really start getting a sense of where I've, struck a chord, whether it's emotionally or someone resonated with it or it was relatable. And then that to me is how I kind of hone in and refine the type of content that we're doing. And it's all based on the feedback that people are, if they're watching, if they're retaining, and if they're engaging on it. So not to like cop out with a cliche, but that's something that we do a lot. And it's why you've seen a lot of different kind of changes in the styles of content we're doing, because we're constantly experimenting with trying to find what works best for us.
That was fantastic. Good job, Shane.
Yeah, 2 for 2, Eric.
There we go.
You're batting third here, bud.
All right. How about CTAs throughout your video? So we did it at the beginning of this video. We said throw this video a like, subscribe to the channel, but we see an intense amount of engagement when we do CTAs throughout our YouTube videos. So instead of just doing it at the beginning and at the end, I'm going to say it right now. If you're watching this video, you're enjoying it, you're getting value out of it, make sure you throw this video a like. Let us know in the comments what you want us to talk about next week, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss this. Saying things like that throughout your video remind people to like the video and push in the algorithm. If you just have a video flat where you never mention that and you never bring the audience into their attention to actually make a CTA, you will be doing your content a disservice. So make sure you're constantly, especially on YouTube, telling people to like your video, but doing it in an organic way.
Yeah.
So that's fine. What about you, Dan?
3 for 3, bases are loaded, and I'm about to swing and whiff on this one. I'm going to say, speaking of cliches, I'm going to say be intentional when on social media. So I think for a little bit of time, I would just catch myself scrolling. I think my screen time on Instagram alone was like 2 hours. And it just like wasn't making me happy. Like I was like seeing people on vacation, seeing people in my office that are, Turks and Caicos every week. And I'm like, I have a back spasm right now. And I'm sitting here with a eating pad, working 16-hour days. So I think it actually made me a little bit like depressed, like honestly. So what I started to do, and you made fun of me a ton of it, not for the depression side of it, but because I would say I'm not on Instagram, meanwhile I'm posting my story every day, but I would stop actually consuming it. And I'd be very intentional with what I was consuming and how long I was consuming it for. So I got my screen time down a lot on, like I haven't even opened up TikTok at all. And I honestly, like when you were talking about Paige, your guys' collab, not even in a disrespectful way, like I didn't even see it. I'm sure it's fantastic, but I've just limited how much time I'm sitting there mindlessly kind of scrolling. And it's really helped out a lot. And it's also helped me be intentional with where I want to post, how much time I could spend. I now have time to allocate towards blogs and all the other things that I want to get done and accomplish. And I'm just happier. So I think using social media as a place for your business, but also like I talk to so many people that hate it. So if you don't enjoy being on it, or if you don't enjoy consuming it, what are you doing? You're just making yourself miserable. So being intentional with how much time you spend on social media.
That's great advice. 4 for 4.
Beautiful.
We're like Ichiro Suzuki in 2001, 2003.
99 Yanks, baby. Come on now.
We're like Larry Walker in 1999. Colorado Rocky.
I was going to say the Colorado.
He probably batted 370 then.
Colorado Lions. Yeah.
350. I would say 356. I would definitely say 356.
356. Dan, I do want to make a quick mention that if you are an agent and you're looking to stand out from the crowd, you do have to check out Reminder Media. It's a resource that is fantastic. You get your own branded, printed, and digital magazines, email newsletters, and social media content. Reminder Media delivers these resources to your contacts on autopilot, keeping you top of mind with your database. All you need to do is focus on your follow-up calls and referrals, and repeat business come in. Use the link below. Try out remindermedia.com. So check that out. There's a link down in the description. Branded, personalized magazines that you can put on people's coffee tables. Stay top of mind. I would love to have a branded magazine of you, Dan, on my coffee table.
No, you would absolutely not.
It would probably be talking to me. Yo. Every time I walk by, the face.
Are you staying at Soho House? Are you staying at the Soho Grand? Speaking of the Soho Grand, the best thing for me outside of real estate that we skipped over because Haley's going to cut it out, but the best thing for me this week was seeing my friends and all of our friends here, Luca from Actually Agents, Eric, Mr. Broke Agent Simon, Byron, Bobby, everybody, not only collaborating, and Leonetti as well, but being at Sirhan's office. And that kind of ties into some of the inside BAM news. But we said at the beginning of the show, I want to hear what Eric learned or what Eric took away from being at Sirhan's office. And I have a funny story, but I don't think I'm going to share it. So, Eric, what did you learn from Sirhan's office?
That's what we call a hook. A funny story that's coming a little later on. It was awesome. So we went out there to film some skits for Brand It Like Sirhan. Byron interviewed him for a podcast for BAM. And then also he's coming on our BAM Pro Bowl. He's our keynote speaker. which is our free event February 7th, which is, basically like a 3-hour webinar with some funny commercials, kickoffs, Star Spangled Banner and stuff. It's going to be a really fun event. So we went out there to get the interview, to get some content with him. And what I learned is just how genuine and dialed the guy is. Like, the guy is minute to minute with his schedule. And the fact that he took the time to have us come into his office and film these silly skits with Matt, myself, and Luca from Actually Agents. And he just remembers things. Like, I met him, I don't know, 7 years ago at some condominium that he was like filming for $1 Million Listing in Los Angeles. This is before the Broke Agent was anything. And he remembered. I was just like, hey, it's great to finally meet you. He's like, no, I met you 7 years ago at this thing, which I had completely forgot about it. So it's just really cool to see how dialed his memory is and how genuine he is. Like, he's just so nice to give us the time. And I have ultimate respect for him because he has turned, this $1 Million Listing career into one of the best real estate careers, his own brokerage, a book trilogy, a media company with Sirhant, the Sell It Like Sirhant like courses, which he has, 10,000 plus members in. Like, he has built a real estate empire and is probably the most respected guy to come out of this entire franchise. So it was awesome meeting him and like seeing the Sirhant office and seeing like the energy and being in New York. It was really cool.
I hate that you said that he remembers everything.
What's the story?
Did you feel bad about yourself?
I knew he did. And to your point, like, all the above is objectively true. I went to his mastermind. I haven't told the story. I went to his mastermind like a year ago. I was at the highest residency in planet Earth. It's like a $250 million listing. 2 days worth of like learning, right? And his schedule, you're exactly right. It's like every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, like he knows exactly what he's doing, where he has to be. So we're at the Soho Grand Hotel, and it's where the event is. And I took away what I needed to take away from it. So I was kind of ready to leave. And to leave the hotel, you have to pass through like the conference rooms. So I went in the morning and he spoke, and I got what I needed the next day. And then it was like a bunch of really good mastermind, but like a celebrity etiquette coach. And I was like, all right, I kind of have to get back to work. Like, let me get out of here. So I go upstairs in my room and I get all my stuff, and I have to wait. I'm looking at like the time thing, and I'm waiting until 2:00 for him to like be gone, and other people are speaking so I can leave. But I have to pass through everybody to leave. So I see on his Instagram story, the guy's getting coffee with Tyler Cameron. So I'm like, all right, this is my time. So I go downstairs and I make it out. Nobody sees me. And I have all my shit. Like, I'm like this. And the valet guy's bringing my car around. It's New York City. And I'm waiting. I have all my dry cleaning, I have my Aldo boots. And of course, naturally, it takes, let's say 4 minutes for my car to come around. I drop everything as I'm getting in my car. My car's a mess. I look like an idiot. I'm disheveled. I'm wearing like one wrong shoe. I drop a boot. Who picks it up? Who picks the shoe up? I'm like, oh, thank you. Ryan's like, no problem, man. Where you going? Where you headed? Thank you for coming. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I got to go back. Blah, blah. I don't even know what I said. We're both sitting there. I'm putting stuff in my car. He just turns around like this and just walks and starts texting to his office that was like 100 feet away. It was the most awkward encounter I've ever had in my entire life. I can't go to sleep at night because I think about it every single day, just watching him go, where you going? And he walks. And now that Eric just said, he'll never forget it.
He will remember that to the day he dies. He is thinking about that interaction on a daily basis on repeat. But it is really cool when someone brings up a meeting that you've had with them. Just be like, oh yeah, I remember you from this. It just makes that person feel good. Like, this guy meets thousands and thousands of people. The fact that he remembered that was really cool. Dan, what you should have done is that the pause when he asked you, what are you doing? You should have paused for a second and said,
yeah, I should have written it down.
Let me write this down for a second so I can provide as much value for you as possible. I need to work in the British accent.
I would have been ready for that conversation had I been watching and following this podcast, had I been in BAMX, had I been in all of the above, had I been at the BAM Pro Bowl. That's a show right here. This is the second version here of the Walkthrough Podcast, your go-to real estate and marketing and branding. Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Paige. Thank you, Eric. Hopefully this guy doesn't have a black eye next week. Get your tickets for the Pro Bowl. I think they're free. Is that true?
Free tickets, February 7th, link in the description. We already have 3,000 plus that have signed up for this. It might even be more at this point. So we want to make this the biggest webinar / virtual event in real estate history. It's completely free. Listen to Ryan Sirhant. He is keynoting it at the very end. We got David Childers, KCM, talking the housing market playbook. We got Jason Pantana speaking AI. This lineup is absolutely stacked.
We will see you there.